Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, beautiful, beautiful individual. Today, I would like to speak about winter, the regression of outer sense perceptible and rational life, and it, retreats to our inner being. In contra-distinction to the plants, which every year blossoms and dies, our inner being, our spiritual soul disposition changes and retreats to our inner being when the winter is approaching. As you can see, everything around us in the sense perceptible world ebbs and dies away and slumbers within the earth forces, and the only thing we truly can see is a barren snow wasteland. Of course, unless you're living in a place that is more tropic, but you get my drift here. In these times, also reflected by the Christmas tree, the inner life, the inner warmth and activity that occurs when winter is approaching and becomes stronger and stronger all until the Easter, is when it is time for us to have inner spiritual life. So the more we immerse ourselves in this life and warmth, sharing it with others, which is also immeasurably important, but to keep ourselves in a living, active, moving inner life. Now, to truly have this freedom to grasp this inner life, not becoming obsessed with it, because we need to be interested in others' inner life too, unless they, of course, wish to hide it. And well, I do not entertain such things. I like to be 100% who I am when I speak, of course, with certain frames and lenses of mind and presentation. It still is me in the end. It's something I stand for, something I do practice. Meeting others, meeting them in the middle if they are willing to do so, or at least we hold that atmosphere and space for that. And then it is dignity and decency, morality as human beings. These things are things to reflect upon and really come to understand, and not just speculating upon them. We have more than enough theories. We have more than enough lukewarm. It might be this, it might be that, but we truly need realities, concrete, experiential, comprehensible, and detail-oriented spiritual knowledge that is not tainted by sense perception and rationality, intellectual thinking. Now, we need our intellect to be able to, form concepts, to making our thought content alive. Not only what we think, but also how we think it. To be alive within one's own thought processes and to truly bring out what is alive. Because every concepts and symbols and such that we use from earlier times and such are corpses. They are dead. They don't have any spiritual life anymore. So to actively come into the active living thought again, you need to be consciously aware and have a certain stability and inner strength to you. In winter, these are the perfect times to strengthen these inner foundations so that we can, hold ourselves strong to certain things we keep ourselves inflexible in. If we are not inflexible and compromises on certain area, we sell our own fruits of labor away. When you truly need to hold strong to certain areas. Now, this is not every area of living, not every area of perception and of interest and of focus, but it is especially important in the endeavors to spiritual research and to morality. If we cannot stand strong in morality, that is weakness. It is something you need to stay strong in it if you are to truly give your soul and spirit the proper nourishment. That from the moral realms, the highest devaconic realms, the spirit lands through the Christ, which will occur later, of course. But it is about, we grow with the Christ, which is the spirit of this earth, and this spirit of this earth will slowly but surely grow into the astral, into the lower devacon, and then into the higher devacon. And we grow with this being, with the whole of earth, spiritualizing it. It has to be done in freedom. It is not something that is forced. It cannot be forced. Even if you scared a person half witless, he would still reluctantly do what you force him to do. But he will not want to do it, you know? That is the whole thing here. You cannot force. If the will is not, well, submitted, it is waste. It is because they are absent in that present activity of things. They don't wish to participate in it. It's hard to explain it, but I'm trying to grasp onto certain spiritual truths here. To in freedom choose to develop as human beings, winter is a perfect time. Because in the opposite, as I said, the plants die, but we as human beings becomes alive inwardly, as represented by the Christmas tree. The light, the warmth. When you see, you want to smile, right? Unless you have a bias toward against it, you know. But it is truly a symbol that showed up after the Christ on the mystery of Golgotha. It happened a little later. The first 300-400 years didn't have it, but it showed up all of a sudden when this Christ impulse and Christ principle became active within this earth, where we could actually partake and participate in it. So having that alive Christmas tree in winter as life, you know, it is just a symbol, of course, but it still is there. It is a most wonderful and sublime time. And the closer we get into Christmas, the more and more in inclusion and connection we become, in a sense. This also has to be chosen. We cannot be living on default on mechanical behaviors and mechanical forms of thinking and feeling for the rest of our life, unless we want our whole organism and soul and spirit to degrade, to stagnate, to become active livefully within your. You do not need to go out and run and jog and lift weights. No, it is about you becoming alive within your own inner being, reflecting it outwards. You should not become obsessed with yourself, obviously. That is unhealthy. It is all about finding that golden middle point. To not become too shut in within oneself, and not become too obsessed and distracted by the outer world, but staying fully anchored, foundational, conscious, loving within your own life as a choice, because it's your life and you partake in the life of all, and everything you do streams out as results in karma and as goodness and as pains. And it's about not becoming, because if you were to become aware of the nether regions of your own being, you would not become very joyful. We should be glad that the higher realms are shielding certain aspects of the mankind from us to a certain extent. But it is about also reconciling, knowing that there are temptations from the physical. That means becoming overly obsessed with the material, and on the other hand become overly obsessed with hedonistic tendencies, pleasures and distractions and ignorance. So it is that balance between the ignorant, joyous, frivolous, and on the other hand, the grey, the sucked out of life, the cold, stone heart, you know? That is what happens when you, well, immerse yourself in normal materialistic science for too long. Your morality and your warmth just becomes sucked out. But when you truly have love, you actually love doing, let's say, science, it becomes an action as it would on an altar, to revere and to become devotional to the divine. When you perform experiments, it should be like, well, doing devotional acts for the divine. Then we are coming closer into what a human being have the potential to become. And to not suck out every form of love and fun and joy in life, but also not letting that be the purpose of life either. Because pain is necessary for us to grow strength, to grow good. Without this opposition, without these adversary forces, we would be like, a perfect example is like Rudolf said, we become like straws, where everything just flows through us, but we wouldn't have any impressions on us. The impressions would just flow right through, but nothing would stick. It is that boom, 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 boom that allows us reflection. So when I speak something to you, it reflects something in you. And the same experience I always experience with others. They reflect things within me. And to be aware that I reflect in them and they reflect in me gives a certain respect and a certain dignity that allows for equality. And then we are more in an open space to, is this person taking responsibility for their own acts and own inner being, or are they just walking on automation and such? Easy, very easy to observe in the end. But it is all about how willing are you to become alive in this. And bringing out that Christmas tree, that warmth, that connection again. For the soul spiritual has become so repressed by the material these last 500 years. And it is about time we awaken this again, to truly find out through our own machine, not listening to what other second-hand people have come to a conclusion about through theories and mathematical equations, because it will only depict certain specific frames, and that is often the corpse of the world. They describe the material mineral forces that is constantly degrading and breaking down. But we are, by existing alone, counteracting that mineral force by life. And this life, not even science can truly describe through their own. They were more closely to reality earlier times, when they actually had life force as a certain concept within their science. But since they removed that, it has become utterly, and you just scratch your head and, well, if that is how they wish to live, then how are we to take that freedom away from them, right? But you have the opportunity to find out for yourself, the soul spiritual, and being open to it, not being in a perpetual pathological skepticism. You need a certain openness to you, but you be prudent too. It is many aspects of your qualities that allows you to also be safe within all of this, to not do something enormously dumb. You see, you need to have certain moral faculties to hold strong to them. That is what I mean by being inflexible when it comes to the moral and the good. So I will leave you with this today. Thank you so much. May you be blessed by Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, and may they protect, guide, bless, and love you on your endeavor to come alive within you, to share this in morality and goodness and empathy and compassion, and to meet others with that compassion, and to meet the world with a certain warmth, but also knowing there are forces on this planet that are very ugly, is the best word to describe it. Ugly behaviors. And you will think for yourself what I mean by ugly. You have beautiful, beautiful acts and behaviors too. You have wonderful acts of will, wonderful emotions, beautiful thoughts. But on the other hand, you do have the ugly ones too. Every one of us have that. Acknowledge it, and you won't become misguided. We are not infallible. We are not perfect here. And don't ever base your worth on what you own materialistically. Because, well, I see every human being as equal. And even if you had a rocket, a space rocket, I would still see you as equal. Even if you were a multi-trillionaire, I would see you as equal. It doesn't matter to me. You don't have power over me. Just as I don't have power over you, unless you choose so, unless I chooses that you have that. And that is the inner strength required for development. To stand strong within that foundation. And to build the understanding and comprehension of the world so that you do not feel constantly bogged down by questions and skeptical fear. Am I correct? Am I doing the right thing? No, you are. You are doing the right thing. You stay in morality and you won't be burned. That is the task here. And in winter you strengthen these thoughts and ideas, which is first ideas, and when you live by them through direct actions and such, they don't become mere ideas anymore. They become realities because you live by them. So, I love you so much, beautiful sibling of mine. May you prosper. May you be successful in your endeavor for development. And may you be safe. And may you be provided with all you need for living, thriving, growing, being safe. Thank you. Love you.